Hello and welcome to today's video. Today we're going to be building this front-end mentor challenge in Webflow. So for starters we're going to click the new project and select the blank site. We'll leave it with my fantastic site name, as we don't really need to change that for now. Okay. The first thing we're going to do is add the fonts that we need by going down to typography, add fonts, which will open in a new window. We'll come over to the style guide that Frontend Mentor have supplied us with. We need the Lexendicant 400 weight. So Lexden, that's the one, and 400 is the regular. We'll add that font, and we need the big shoulders display. And I should have looked at what font sizes we needed. Oh, 700. So we'll tick the 700 and remove the regular and add that font. Close that and we'll refresh so the fonts are activated. Right, let's have a look. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is I'm going to select the body tag and select all body pages, which isn't really relevant as we've only got one page, but I'm doing it this way now. We're going to click on the display and we're going to display as flex, and then we're going to align everything to the center and justify to the center. Next I'm just going to use a div block into the body, and we're going to give this a class of container. This is going to hold all three of these cards. So next up we'll go into the elements panel and we will grab another div block into the container, and this will have a class of card, and we're going to want three of them cards, so we'll do that now. Actually, scratch that. I'm going to quickly delete them. I just realised something. First of all, we're going to grab a grid from the elements panel and drop that into our container. We're going to delete one of the rows, which you can do by right clicking on the row you want to delete, or you can also do it over here in the styles panel. Remove one of those rows and we will add another column. We'll leave the gap there for a minute. Now we'll give our div block, that can have the class of card, and we want three of them, one in each column. Right. Next we will add some padding to the cards. You can click and add it manually like that, which is a lot slower, or you can hold shift on the keyboard and adjust the padding on all sides at the same time. We'll go with a padding of, can't really see what's happening at the minute, but we'll go with full, come on, there we go. We'll go for the 40 at the minute, and we can adjust that if we need to. Right, so next we've got this image at the top there. Let's go to our asset panel, go to the files and drag in those images and drop. There we go. The first one is the sedan, so we will just grab that and place that inside our card. Okay, so now we've got the image inside the card. We also need a heading, which I'm going to use a H2 as you should only ever have one H1 heading per page. Let's go over to Visual Studio Code so we can just copy and paste. So paste that in there. We'll come over to the Assets panel and we'll give this a class of card headings. We'll adjust the colours of everything once we've done all the text. Next we've got a paragraph, and let's put that, make sure it's in our card, and in the card we want it to go in, under the heading. I need to get rid of that card. I've put a card within cards there. There we go, that's better. And then we'll come over and we will copy and paste the text in. Paste. Okay. Something weird's gone on here. I'm not. Oh right, yes, because I haven't given the container a width. I'll sort that in a minute. And then we've got a button with Learn More. So next we'll go over to our panel again and we'll scroll down, and I've gone past it. There it is. We'll put that button in and Learn More. Okay, that's the first card. Let's go over to our container grid and give this a width of, let's try 50% for the minute and see how that looks. That's going to be too small. 800 pixels. You see with that? That will probably work okay. I think we can adjust that when we need to in a minute. Now let's do the next card. Text. We've got the SVG picture into the card. Okay. Oh right, that's why it's looking weird. I need to take them out of that card and delete that one. That's better. I accidentally had one too many divs. That's because I was copy and pasting the containers. Right, next we have another heading into that card under there. We'll make that H2, and this one was SUVS, I believe. Yeah. Then we'll grab another paragraph. Oh, go over to the panel to make sure it goes in the correct place. Copy and paste that text in there, and we'll copy this button and just paste it straight in. Now on to the final card. Same again, grab the image. Saying that we will give this a class, give it the class of card heading. Heading, we want a H2, we also want a paragraph, and we also want a button. Let's go and grab all that text in one go this time. Paste that into the paragraph, and we'll cut the luxury because that's the heading. Paste that in. This will also have a class of card head. Well, I've missed the D on the headings there, but that's okay, it will still work. Right, that's all the text within each of our cards. So now we will come back to our style guide to get some colours. So we've got a bright orange. So we're going to come to our first card, which is the bright orange, and we're going to give this a combo class of orange. Actually, before I do that, I'm going to remove that class quickly. We are going to let me quickly think. Paragraphs, headers, buttons. No, that's okay. We can do it this way. We'll give this a class of orange. As the colours are given in HSL, which you can't use on Webflow, we will go to W3 Schools Colour Converter. And then we'll come over back to Visual Studio Code. We'll grab this colour and we will paste it in there to get the hex value. Back over, we will come down to our classes or styles panel, background colour, and we'll paste that in to get our orange, which let's do the other colours first, shall we? So we got this card will have a dual class, combo class of cayenne, and we will come back and over to the colour converter again. Lots and lots of copy and pasting. And the last one, which was dark cayenne, we go with the same class name, dark cayenne. Paste that in. Okay, that's given us our three cards with our background colours. Next, let's grab this very light grey colour, which is going to be also put into here. F2, F2. We want to click on the body tag this time. We'll select all body pages again, and this is going to be the background colour, changing to F2, F2, F2. So it's just off white. Okay, so what else was this for? Headings and buttons. So we'll select the card's headings, and because we gave the headings all a class, this will affect all of the headings at one time. And they will all now, oops, I've just made a mistake there. We'll go to that, we'll reset that because we don't want that actually set. I want the typography panel and paste that in there. Now all the headings are the correct colour. The headings also have a different font, which I'm fairly certain is the Big Shoulders display, probably. Let's have a quick look. Yeah. Okay. That's the... Let's... where do I want to apply this? Yeah, we'll leave it on there. Let's make this unitless card height of 1.5. Which means the line height is 1.5 times your font size, which at the moment is set to 32. But I prefer to use rems, so we'll set that. Let's try currently at 2 rems. Let's try 2.5, which is, I think that's, I think that looks about, I think that might be a bit too big actually. Maybe 2 rems was right, which is what it was already set at. Next we're gonna select this paragraph, and I'll let Webflow create the class for us this time. Instead of typing it in, it will automatically create a class called paragraph as soon as we change anything. The colour for the paragraphs are white with a bit of transparency, so we'll click here and bring this right up into the white corner, and 75. Now we'll click on the other paragraphs and give them the same class, paragraph. Right, this needs to be, oh no, that is right, big shoulders display. Did I select the wrong font weights? Yeah, I've done this, that's better. It's a bit more readable. It's not, it doesn't actually meet the contrast ratio for accessibility, but I think even, yeah, because of the background colour, it's just not quite the right colour to make it very readable. I think we would have to probably go into black, which, yeah, doesn't look too great and definitely won't be working on this one here. So we'll stick with the design, which was the white and 75 opacity. Ideally, you shouldn't be aiming for this sort of contrast ratio. You should aim for a minimum of AA, if not AAA if you can. I think the font on these, let's go to more type options and we'll click capitalise each word, and this will also now get a class of button as well. Button, that, I think that is the right one. Let's up the font size on those buttons, 1.1. yeah, that's okay. Right, next we will change the background colour, which was to the, I should have made a swatch of this really, there we go. And each card has its own colour for the buttons, so we will add a combo class. It's just to make sure quicker than me typing in it, of orange to the button as well. So this is saying if it's a button with a class of button and orange, we want the text colour to be orange. Before I do that, I'm going to remove that class quickly so we can scroll down and do the other styles to it first. That way we won't have to style each button individually. It's got a border radius on that to make it round. And now let's also add some more padding to the left and right. By holding Alt and dragging, we can do both sides at the same time. Yeah, I think that looks good. Right, now let's let's do the orange colour. This one was cayenne, wasn't it? RN, isn't it? Cayenne. change the font colour to that one, and dark cyan, and grab and change that font colour again. Right. I'm going to remove that orange class quickly because I feel like they need a little bit more padding on the top and button. Let's try 12 on the bottom, and we'll do 12 on the top and there. That's too much. Let's try 10. And let's actually make these a round number, not 31. Right, and we'll now re-add that orange class. Right, so let's sort the spacing out on the cards. We've got even spacing there and there on the top and bottom of our H1s. At the minute it's got a margin of 20, which let's try 30 on the top, and we'll do 30 on the bottom. That looks like there's too much actually. Let's change that to 20. Yeah, that looks about right. Next we've got this paragraph and the bottom. The paragraph has a lot more space between the paragraph and the button, so we will come over here and we will add, should we say 40? Nope, 60. Does that look? Might even be 80 to be honest. This font size needs changing as well. Let's try 80 margin on the bottom. I think that looks about right. Okay. So at the minute the font size is only 14. Let's do 1 rem, which is actually equal to 16 pixels. I think that's looking a bit better. The paragraphs don't look quite right, I think. Let me check the colour. Yeah, 100% brightness, which is FFFF. Maybe, maybe it is the wrong font that I'm using. I should be using the and maybe, and that should probably have a 700. That looks better. Whoops, I have to apply that to them. I think that's a bit better though. Let's remove the orange class quickly so we can affect all the buttons and bring that back down to the font size back down to 1 rem, and we'll re-add that class again. There we go. Right. I think now it's too big. So let's do 0.8 rem. There we go. Yeah, I think that looks pretty good. I feel like there's actually too much space there for my liking now that I've changed a few bits. So let's change that back down to 60. Right, and that's all 3 of our cards done. Next we're going to click on the grid, and this is the edit grid. We're going to edit the grid and we're going to remove the grid gap, which you can do via here, or you can just click here, or you can increase, but we don't want any, and we'll do that. Let's have a We've also got some rounded corners here. So we will come in and we want card orange selected. We will go down to borders, border radius, and we want, let's say, 10 pixels on the top left and 10 pixels on the bottom left. Click off so I can see if that looks, yeah, that looks about right. Oh wait, is this, oh, I've done the wrong picture here. Quickly get rid of that picture and put the correct one in. There we go. And now I completely lost track of what I was doing. Oh yes, border radius is on the darker card, but this time we want 10 on the top right hand and 10 on the bottom right hand. And that is the desktop version done. That preview to see how it looks on bigger screens. Let's add a little bit of box shadow to the, no, we'll do that after we finished everything else actually. So next we will move on to the responsiveness of it. So we'll click on our tablet screen. As we can see now, it's taking up the full width of the tablet there. So I'm going to click on the container. We're going to make this a bit smaller. I'm going to say, let's say 700, so we make sure there's always, let's give it a max width of 800. No, we'll do it this way now. Now I've started doing it this way. Okay, we're no, actually, scratch that. We're going to come to the big break point. Should have done this from the beginning. We're going to give it a max width of 800 pixels. Oops. Try auto a second. Will that? Yeah, there we go. So now, no matter how big the screen size gets, this container that's holding these cards will never get bigger than 800 pixels across. So now on this one we also, oops, I'm going to reset that a second. Reset. So on the bigger ones it will stay like that, but when it gets smaller I still think let's on the body, let's give it 20 pixels padding on the body each side. That way the cards can expand to their full 800 width when on a bigger tablet device, but that way they will also not be right up to the edge of the screen on the smaller devices. I think that looks good. We could, well, we've got a little bit of, because there's not quite enough room. Let's maybe the padding wasn't the best way to go. No, let's go back to how I did it the first time actually. Reset the paddings and we'll just give it a we'll reduce the container size to 750, so there's a little bit of space, and yeah, I think that's fine for that one. So next we're going to go to mobile landscape, and now this is, yeah, not very nice at all. I mean, so what we will do now is we'll come to our grid and we will edit the grid. and instead of having 3 columns we're going to reduce it to 1. So now that's all taking the full width, and we're also going to remove the grid gap on the rows this time. Let's actually look at this is the mobile version. So we're actually going in the right direction for that as well. Whoops, wrong one. I want Chrome. But now we need to remove we're going to need some space on the top and bottom. So I'm going to go to the body tag this time, and we're going to add some padding, holding down Alt and dragging to the top and bottom. Come on. So fiddly this bit sometimes. There we go. And actually I should have probably done it on all 4. Let's add 40 pixels on the left and right as well. Did I? Yeah. Trying to match the padding up. Right, okay, this here paragraph is getting a bit too long on the Surface Pro. Right, what I'm going to do on this paragraph now, on the smaller sizes, because yeah, that's fine, we're going to give it a max width, and let's try 60 CH, and CH stands for character height. So the width of this paragraph will be no longer than 60 zeros of this font size. And 60 has not changed it much because it's probably, yeah, 60 is too much. Let's try 50. Maybe even 40. Yeah, I think 40 looks a bit better on the smaller sizes, but now we've got an issue where the container is just way too big for this sort of size screen. So let's drop that down to 600, maybe 500. Still think 500's too much as well. Let's try 4. Yeah, I think 4 looks okay. We need to come onto our orange card now though and remove the no one paragraph at the moment, orange card, and we want to remove the border radius from the bottom left and put that back to 0 and add 10 to the right. So, and we need to do the same on the other card, except we need to take it off the right top hand and add it to the bottom. Okay, next we'll look at mobile, and on the very small screens it's very squished, so I'm gonna remove some of this padding on the left and right off the, oh, I've done the wrong thing here. I need to undo that. I want to remove the padding on the left and right on the body. Keep a little bit of padding. I think 20 looks good. Probably better. Well, I mean, this isn't really a must now, but let's give it a little bit more breathing room at the top and bottom there. Come on. There we go. That's a bit better. Right. And so that's our mobile size done. I think that looks okay. I've done this a bit weird, to be honest. I don't think I want that to be more than 350 in width. Oh, yeah, we're not going to need to worry about Nintendo SNES systems. But yeah, That looks good. And check the other breakpoints. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. Check the tablet. Yeah, that's fine. Landscape. And then back to our breakpoint. We can click on the preview. So this is what it would look like on a screen of 1516 pixels. We can shrink it down and see the responsiveness at play as we get smaller and move on to smaller devices and back again. Let's come out of preview mode and work on the active states. So here's the active states. We've got all of them change to transparent and they've got a border. So first thing I'm going to do is we'll remove this orange class so we can affect all the buttons at the same time. Oh, hello. Sorry, I didn't notice you were in chat. Yeah, remove this orange class so we can select all the buttons at the same time. And what is it I'm doing? We're going to add a border with a solid 1 pixel and white. We add in the border now because when we hover it needs the white border, and if you add it on the hover state it will cause a shift movement in the layout as you're adding 1 pixel to the button. Next we'll select our button and select our hover state, and the hover state has, all we need to do is change the background color to transparent, and we'll make sure the text color is also white. We can now reapply the orange class, and if we go into preview mode and we hover over these, they flick over to the hover states. But let's make this look a bit nicer. We'll go down to transitions and we will select all properties. Ease in and out over 200 milliseconds, which will give us a little bit of a animation. Oops, I know what's gone wrong there. See how it's working on that one but not on the other two. I forgot to remove that orange class, so we'll quickly remove that and add the transition again. This way it will apply to all of the buttons with a class of button. Okay, orange, come out preview, back into preview mode, and now we've got the active states done, and we've got the pointer. Yep, I think that is it for this project. We could always add some animations to bits and bobs, but I don't think they're really needed for this project. Let's actually, we're going to remove that orange class again, so we're affecting just the buttons with a class of button, and we will go on the pressed. And what this means is that when you're clicking down on the button, this is what the style will look like. And if we go down to, what was it again? Transform and then scale. What scale does is it will change the size of it. So you could go really, really small, but I tend to like to just drop it down by 1 point. So then when you actually click on, oh, wait there, let's come back out, add the orange class back. That way now when you press on the button, you get a little shrinking of it, which gives it a bit of a, makes it feel like you're actually clicking on something and more interactive. Let's have a think. Is there anything else we could do? Let's add a little bit of box shadow so it's not so flat. So we'll come to box shadow. I think that degree's fine. Let's add a bit of blur. I have just noticed something there which I will fix in a second. Add a bit of blur, and then we'll bring the alpha channel which right down so you can barely see it, but just enough so there's a little bit of lift. Try that, and I need to go on the container here and add the border radius, because now that these shadows there, you can see it's got that little white triangle there where there's no border radius on the container. So yeah, we want all four corners to have 10 pixels. And that should have gotten rid of that. I wasn't on the container, I was on the body. We don't actually need that class there. Oh yes we do. Right, select the container, let's try that again. 10 pixels. There we go. Got rid of that. And I think do we want a little animation on the button? Let's have a little look. If we go with the button selected, we go over to interactions. We click on the element trigger. We've got a few. Sorry, I just realised something then that I was trying to figure out the other day. Let's go when the mouse hovers over, and let's use one of the pre-built animations. Let's see what pop looks like. Oh, we can't see what pop's doing because I've already kind of, my hover scaling down kind of does the same. I think the rubber band's a nice effect, but so it stretches it a little bit and then we click. No, see, the rubber band effect has overwritten the little animation that I've created myself in a way. So we'll just remove that and remove, delete. Okay, that is this project done. Thank you for watching, and hit that like and subscribe button if you've enjoyed the video, and I will be back again Monday at around 10:30, 11 o'clock with another challenge to do. Until then, thank you.